Disc 3000, and if you see on the front panel, we just started this up. The only thing that happens is we get our main screen that shows the model number, and inside the only thing that happens is we will see the handler. The handler will home itself and it'll go up to the top upon startup. We have our magazines. We have them on both sides. This is only for the Blu-ray, and we will not have these in our units. These are going to be our drives.
You're going ahead of my camera movement.
Okay.
The top two drives are the PDD drives.
Which will not be...
Which we'll never have. And then the bottom two there are Blu-ray, which our systems aren't going to have. So but the drives will look the same.
We're going to have two drives, but the drives can be replaced by magazines. If you look around the back side. And as you see, we have our two drives here, and we have some magazines. But we could have a bunch of drives in here and not magazines. This is going to be our drive controller. And this is going to be our SCSI board here.
Let's talk about the drive control board real quick while we're here.
Okay. Right here is our ID for each drive controller.
Yep, that's the changer interface cable.
Changer interface. And what happens is all the boards are wired up, so we don't have a lot of wires hanging around. So each board gets tagged to another board from these wires.
Mentioned in this configuration that the license control board is not properly wired. So do not attempt to...
Yes, we do not have... Come on over.
Okay, let's focus on the drive control board.
Okay, we have our SCSI IDs have to be set on the board here.
Well,
Can you see?
Okay, there I go.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
So these are going to be our SCSI IDs. In addition, we're going to have our SCSI ID up here, and that's going to be for the changer.
Which is currently set to ID4.
Can you zoom in that far?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
And then the button next to it is the mode select for serial operation and SCSI operation. Okay.
And this is going to be on the back. You're going to see that's your SCSI interface here.
Which is 68 pin.
68 pin. And each drive, we'll go up under here. Each drive is going to have two power cords going to it. I don't know if you can see in there. You can see there's one here and one here.
And then those go to a single connector.
And they go to a single connector. And then you're going to have your blue wire is underneath here. Let's see. And it's only going to go on one way. On the drives themselves, they are IDE drives, but they have a SCSI interface attached to them. So we'll see that when we pull one of these drives out, that they have an extra couple boards on the back of them.
Okay.
On the top is all your robotics, and you're going to see the changer. Your changer, as that moves, you're going to see the wheels spin. These are basically going to lift up and down. There is no robotics on the changer itself. So everything is up here. This is going to move the changer up and down, and it's going to also go in and pull the trays out and push them in, put them into drives, etc.
Alright, so this is the main stepper motor that moves the changer up and down.
Yep.
And then this is the picker motor.
Yep. And then by spinning that, we're going to see that when we do our offsets to see it pick. We'll be able to see how you use this to feel out how far the picker should go.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we're going to
And
do
then
that.
this motor changes the picker direction from front to back. And then the board behind that motor, that board, is your sensor board. And that's the main circuit board for the library. And let's look here. What are these again?
Frams.
Frams. If we get a new circuit board, we have to take the frams off the old board.
And be very careful on what way you put those, because they have to be in the exact same way.
Right, otherwise it won't work. And let's see that connector. That bootload jumper there.
Right here, these 3 pins.
Yep.
Can you see that?
Yep. If you get to a situation where you can't load firmware, you can jumper with a screwdriver.
You would
Pins
jump
1 and 2 for 5 seconds. While the firmware load is trying to run. And that will bring the firmware back on. And then that's a DC to DC converter, which supplies power for the stepper motors. Let's see.
And of course, this year right now, I'd say, but you'll never need to do any of this in
Standard ATX power supply from a computer. There are 3 different power supplies. So in the field, it might be different.
Oh, trays. Can we pull one out live?
Magazines come out this way. Yep.
So-
let me zoom in there so we can see. And squeeze those 2 handles. Yep. And
You can see they're numbered, so it's easy to tell.
can I see they're numbered? Yes, I can. And let's see, where's that little tab at?
Oh, and this
That
is
released it.
and this is going to. This is how the discs will pull out this way. And they can slide back in. Nope. It's kind of free floating, huh?
Yeah, just push it in hard. There you go. And then there's the little tab that releases it. Let's see. We'll talk about the front.
The front, we have changeable magazines here,
15 slots each.
and this is going to be our import export, which we have right now. We have this turned off and this turned off, and that is because we have bypassed the board in the back.
The LKU board,
LKU board.
which was failing. But also the import-export tray was having a problem too.
Right.
And the import-export tray can go on the top or the bottom. And there's a connector right here. Let's see if I can find that. Well,
Is it? Yeah, it's right.
okay, where it says lower 1 and upper 1. So right now it's in upper because the import-export tray's in the upper slot.
And this is where our wires come for
This
the
is-
import-export.
Right, so that's the import-export tray connector. And then there's one screw for that thing, which is,
Can you see it? We have one screw that's way in this corner. Can you see that?
and power and signals come off of that green cable. So you can actually pull the tray out and plug it in and test it. Here's the sensor, the only sensor in the whole unit. And
That's
it's
our
mate.
emitter.
And
Emitter.
And that sensor detects the presence of trays and media. Let's get a good shot of the handler here, because it's not really a handler.
Yes, and then we put it, start it moving. Do you know
Actually.
what